Hi, and welcome back to Math Grade 1. We are going to do lesson number 2 today. And lesson 2 is going to continue in our learning about the numbers and figures for 1 through 10. Well, we started last time by counting up to 10 using circles. These were basically balls that we wrote on the board. And you can see the hairy yellow marks. That was me ticking these off with my yellow marker. And then we counted some boxes, some of these blue boxes, up to 10, and we counted yellow triangles. And today we're going to continue some practice counting 1 to 10, and we're going to use some white stars. So I'm going to draw a row of stars, and we'll start counting those up just like we did on the other objects. Now this is how many stars here? You remember? We start counting at what? We start at 1, don't we? Okay, so that's star number 1. All right. So if I put another star next to that star, how many is that do we have? We got 1, we got 2. Okay. And if we put another star next to those two, how many stars do we have now? We've got 1, 2, 3. All right. And another star added to the group, how many stars do we have now? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another star, like so, is how many stars? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And let's add a couple more down here. Make a second row, get a second row started. How many stars is this now? All together, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll add another one. Oop, put that one back. Another star right here. That doesn't look so much like a star, does it? Is that a little better? Okay, how many stars do we have now? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stars. All right, let's add another one right there. How many stars do we have? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and we'll do likewise. Put another star down here and count those up. How many do you think we have? We have 9. Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stars. All right, let's put one more to make our 10. Let's put star number 10 right there, and let's count those up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Now what I want to do, since we know how to count 1 to 10, let's take a look at what the numbers look like. We're going to write the figures for the numbers that we've just been counting. In other words, we know that this is 1 star right here, right? Well, what does a 1 look like? If you want to write the number, write the figure for the number 1 on this chalkboard here that I'm doing, or on your paper if you want to write it down. But just watch. You don't have to write anything right now. Just watch what we're doing. I'm going to write the number right below here. So star number 1 is going to have a 1 below it. This is what a 1 looks like, okay? This is kind of a simple version. But that's basically a 1. Okay, I'll draw it again so you get a look at it. That's what a 1 looks like, okay? And we'll go over some other little variations at a later time, but that's basically what a 1 looks like. Now, if we draw star number 2 right here, let's take a look at what 2 looks like. If you want to write the figure for a 2, that's going to look like this. Okay, I'll do it a couple times so you get a good look at what a 2 generally looks like. Looks kind of like that, just like a 1 looks like that. Some people get a little fancy and put a little thing on it, or even a serif at the bottom. You want to get really fancy, but you don't have to do that. Okay, just this simple 1 like this is good enough. Now let's do a third star. That's star number 3, right? What does a 3 look like? If you want to write the figure for 3, that's going to look like this. Okay, that's a 3. Basically, a 3 looks like that. Okay. Now, if you want to write the numeral for 4, the figure for 4, what does a 4 look like? Well, a 4 is going to look something like that. Here, I'll draw it again, write it again. Okay, that is a 4. And there is a variation on that I'll show you later on, but that's basically what a 4 looks like. So let's see what a 5 looks like. If we draw star number 5, what does a 5 look like? Well, a 5 looks like that. And I'll write it again here and here, so you get an idea what a 5 looks like compared to a 4 and a 3 and a 2 and a 1. You see there? So that's the numerals 1 through 5. That's what they look like when we write the figures for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now let's take a look at 6 through 10. So we'll continue here with star number 6. And let's see what a 6 looks like. A 6 looks like this. Okay, looks kind of like that. I'll just repeat it a couple times so you see what it looks like. That's what a 6 looks like. Okay. Now let's look at 7. If we draw star number 7, what does a 7 look like? Well, the 7 looks like this. 7 looks like that. Okay. And now let's draw an 8. So for star number 8, what is an 8 going to look like? Well, an 8 looks like this. Okay, I'll draw it a couple times so you get the idea. You've ever heard of a figure 8? Like somebody who does ice skating does a figure 8 that looks, well, like when they do it on an ice rink, it looks kind of like that. That's called a figure 8. Well, they get it from the number 8, the numeral. Okay, so that's an 8. Now let's take a look at what a 9 looks like. So for star number 9, let's write a 9. And that's what a 9 looks like. And later on I'll show you a little variation on that, the way you see it sometimes, but that's basically what 9 looks like. Now let's do one more. Star number 10. What does 10 look like? Well, 10 is kind of special. The figure that we write for 10, the reason it's kind of special is because it actually has two numbers in it. It's got a 1 and a 0. A 1 and a 0 put together side by side like that means 10. That's how we read that. So 10 is a 1 next to a 0. Okay, a 1 next to a 0. You read that as 10. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We saw over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's how we write the numbers 1 through 10. Let's practice a little bit more. Let's pick a little bit different shape this time. Alright, so let's say we're going to count apples. Let's say we're going to draw an apple right here. So let's put one right here. Does that look kind of like an apple? Hope so. Alright, so that's one apple, right? Okay, so if we put another one next to that, how many apples do we have now? That would be 1, 2, right? Okay, let's put another apple next to those guys. There's another apple. That makes how many? That makes 1, 2, 3. And let's put another one, pick another one off the tree, put it there. How many apples do we have now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty. And another one right there. That's apple number what? That's apple number 5. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And let me put another row on the bottom here like we did before. With the other things, we'll put apple number what? How many apples does this make? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And put another apple right there. Got kind of a long stem. How many apples is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, 7 apples. And we'll add one more to make how many? How many apples is that now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. One more right there. How many apples is that? Here, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 apples. One more, because how many are we counting up to? Right, we're counting up to 10. 10 apples. That kind of looks more like a cherry, but that's an apple. And we'll count them up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 apples. Okay, now let's go back and write those numerals that we were learning. With the stars, we're going to write the numerals of the figures for 1 through 10 using our apples. So let's put an apple here. That's apple number 1, isn't it? Now let's write the number for 1 right below it. And we'll write that, let's write those in blue like the other ones. We'll have blue numbers down here. So this is apple number 1. Remember that that's all we have to do to write 1. You know, you can get fancy, you can do that, but we'll stick with the simple version. That's just a plain 1 right there. Okay. Now, let's draw another apple next to that one. That's apple number 2. And how do we write a 2? Remember, we're going to write it like this. Okay? Just like that. That's what a 2 looks like. Okay, let's draw apple number what? This is apple number 3. And a 3 looks like that. Okay, that's 3. So now so far we've got 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, let's put another apple on the board. That's going to be apple number what? Apple number 4. So our 4 looks like this. Okay, that's what a 4 looks like. And let's do another apple to complete this first row. That's going to be apple number what? How many apples is that altogether? That's 5. And we're going to put a 5 right here. See, that's what the 5 looks like. When you write the figure for 5, that is what it looks like. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've got those down. Let's do 6 through 10 now. Apple number 6 is going to go right there. And what does a 6 look like? Well, that looks like this. I'll do it a couple times so you get the idea. That's a 6. Let's put apple number what? How many apples is this now? Counting these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is apple number 7, right? Okay. So 7 looks kind of like that. Okay. Now the next apple is going to make this how many altogether? That was 7, and we just added 1 to those 7. How many is that now? That's apple number 8. Okay. 8 looks kind of like that. Just think of a figure 8, like a figure skater. Okay. That's 8. Let's put another apple and see how many that is. That's apple number what? We've got 9 apples. And 9 looks like that. Okay. One more will make our 10, won't it? So there's apple number 10. And if you remember, 10 looks like this. It's got 2 numbers. The figure for 10 actually has 2 numbers to it, a 1 and a 0 next to each other. That's how we read it as 10. Okay. Well, that's all we're going to do for today. You can replay this and watch this video again just as you can watch yesterday's over again to get a real good feel for numbers and counting things up. And be sure and count things in real life around your house or where you are. You can find some things to count up easy enough that you can put away and not lose or break, and count things up like that. We'll do some real counting tomorrow with some things that I'll find, counting up through 10, and we'll do some more of that in our next lesson. So we'll see you when we get together again.